The RV Perseverance rode the swells with the patience of a monument, positioned over a secret 3 years in the finding.
Beneath 3,000 meters lay the Meridian Star, a vessel lost in a typhoon 40 years ago.
Life support, ballast, emergency systems. Each check was a covenant against the instant death waiting outside their hull.
They would spend 12 hours in that sphere, a bubble of humanity descending into a realm of absolute darkness and crushing pressure. The moment of transition was gentle, a change in light, a muffling of sound. Then, the darkness began its gradual assertion.
At 50 meters, life was abundant and swift, fleeing the strange intruder from above.
At 100 meters, the ocean adopted a cathedral quality, a sacred space of fading light.
Then, at 200 meters, the last vestiges of natural light surrendered. The true descent had begun.
The pressure hull spoke first at 500 meters, a minute creak as titanium compressed under the mounting weight of the sea.
Time became elastic, measured not in minutes, but in the slow, silent accumulation of depth.
Occasional bursts of living light punctuated the void, creatures for whom this crushing blackness was home.
At 1,500 meters above the seabed, their sonar painted an anomaly, a shape too geometric for nature.
And there she was, the Meridian Star, emerging from the darkness like a photograph developing in a tray.
Her name remained, picked out by organisms that had made the fading paint their home.
The submersible circled, recording the violence of her sinking and the strange, serene peace that had followed. Their target was amidships, where the cargo holds, sealed coffins of steel, promised preservation. Minutes became an hour. Patience was their only tool against the crushing indifference of the deep. Finally, the doorway was open. The interior awaited, a darkness untouched for 40 years.
The lights reached in, and every surface within the 30-meter hold answered with a dull, unmistakable gleam.
On the surface, the director saw the confirmation. His encoded reply was simple: proceed with recovery.
To move the cargo, they needed the cradle, a remotely operated marvel of engineering, lowered from the world above.
"30 bars at a time, each a 12-kilogram ingot of ancient supernova debris, given meaning by human hands."
And then the first load began its 3-kilometer journey back towards the sun.
Mission elapsed time, 8 hours. They ate, monitored systems, and waited in their bubble of air and light.
The rhythm continued. Load, lift, lower, repeat. A mechanical ballet under 400 atmospheres of pressure.
Next came the safes. Too heavy for the cradle, they would be lifted individually by the main cable, the most delicate phase.
Every connection was inspected, every knot a promise that the treasure would not be lost a second time.
With power reserves dwindling, they switched to emergency lights. The archaeologist cataloged the final glimpses of history.
Vintage timepieces in transit cases, mechanical marvels that once translated cosmic time into human understanding.
Mission elapsed time, 11 hours. Their work was done. The Challenger turned her nose upward, towards home.
The deep blue returned, a twilight that felt like dawn after the absolute dark.
The hull groaned differently now, titanium expanding as the immense weight of the abyss reluctantly released its grip.
At 200 meters, the sun's rays reached them, turning the sea into a cathedral of light.
The transition was shocking. From intimate, pressurized silence to the vast, noisy openness of sky and sea.
It was placed into its cradle with the care owed to a vessel that had kept them alive in a realm of death. Around them, the deck was transformed, a warehouse of treasures, dripping with the water of the deep.
The director authorized the final phase. It was time to open the sealed past.
"20 minutes of patient violence, and the lock's internal secrets were shattered.
Pressure increased. The door resisted, then groaned open. A sound of surrender. Inside, nestled in rotten velvet, diamonds burned. They had been cleaned by the sea itself, and now they captured light once more.
A geologist lifted one stone. Carbon, forged under immense pressure, now playing with light in the open air.
Formed billions of years ago, cut by human hands, lost to the deep. Its journey contained epochs.
A perpetual calendar chronograph in rose gold. A pinnacle of mechanical artistry, suspended between function and ruin.
She held it to her ear, listening for the heartbeat of gears and springs that had been still for 40 years. Nothing. Yet.
The third safe held more gold, and something equally precious. Archival documents.
The cleaning extended into evening. Patient hands brushed away sediment, revealing the objects beneath their accretion of time. Each bar was logged, photographed, weighed. The numbers began to accumulate, abstract and vast. The director called a halt. The team gathered, standing in a shared silence no words could fill. Above them, the true scale of the universe was written in starlight. The ocean murmured below.
Gold, element 79. Forged in stellar explosions, given meaning by human desire.
Carbon, arranged by geology into perfect lattice. A crystal whose beauty existed long before it became a symbol of wealth. In the distance, a whale surfaced and dove, returning to its own darkness, following imperatives older than humankind.
Enough. Finally, a single word. Enough. The moment passed. The practical world of securing cargo and writing reports returned.
They moved to secure the cargo, to wrap history in foam and place it in the ship's vault. The operation was concluding.
The deck, now cleared, bore only the evidence of water and wear. The treasures were gone, secured below.
The ocean, infinite and patient, continued its rhythms. Beneath the hull, the empty
The numbers were abstract. 400 million. More. What mattered was the achievement.
The Perseverance turned for port, carrying her recovered weight of darkness back into the light of the human world.
In the ship's vault, the reclaimed wealth sat in darkness once more, but this time by design, awaiting its next journey.
The pilot replayed the descent in his mind, the silent commands, the steady hands, the moments of beauty, the moments of tension, all compressed into the memory of a single, profound day.
The documents were more than proof. They were stories, names, destinations, values assigned in a different time.
Her role was to bridge the gap, to connect the objects from the deep with the human narratives that created them.
The cleanup was a ritual, removing the physical traces of the deep, preparing the ship for the next mystery, the next challenge.
Preliminary reports had already been transmitted. Insurers, claimants, and lawyers were now stirring in the world above.
The director felt not the thrill of treasure, but the satisfaction of a complex equation solved against impossible odds. The voyage home was quiet. The sea, having yielded its secret, now offered only the monotony of open water.
He checked the cable for stress, for wear. 11,000 meters of engineered courage, tested to its limits and holding firm.
In their cases, the watches slept. Their movements, frozen in time, held the potential to measure it once again.
Tomorrow, in a sterile lab, a different kind of salvage would begin. One of microscopic precision and historical reverence.
No speeches were made. The shared experience was enough. They drank to the deep, and to their safe return from it.
It's just carbon. But what a arrangement of atoms.
Everything down there is just arranged differently, including us for a little while.
That night, the sea glowed in their wake, a fleeting, beautiful echo of the deep's hidden light.
Sleep was elusive. The silence of his cabin was too empty after the constant, reassuring hum of the submersible systems.
He wondered if a part of him was still down there, descending forever into that peaceful, crushing dark.
Director, reduce speed to 3-0.
Confirmed, Director.
The mission phase was ending. The logistics phase,
The treasures would not see a public dock. Their transfer would be swift, secure, and witnessed by only a few.
The watch, once destined for a Monaco auction, now began a new journey, its value multiplied by its story. He thanked them, one by one. Their contracts were fulfilled, their bonuses secured. They were now individuals again.
The archaeologist lingered. The submersible was just a machine again, a tool. The archaeologist lingered. The submersible was just a machine again, a tool. The archaeologist lingered. The submersible was just a machine again, a tool. but she knew what it...
The Perseverance would not rest long. Another crew, another set of coordinates, another secret waiting in the deep.
In a climate-controlled room far inland, the treasures were unveiled again, this time for the bureaucracy of recovery. The process was clinical. Assessments were made, values confirmed, the poetry of the recovery reduced to columns in a spreadsheet.
But for some, the poetry remained. A historian saw not just objects, but
with solvents and precision tools, he cleansed it of the sea's last traces, part by tiny part.
He reassembled the movement, a puzzle of microscopic complexity. Then, he gave it energy. Its heartbeat was restored. A machine built to outlast its makers had, against all odds, fulfilled its purpose.
And far below, on the plane of sediment, the Meridian star continued its slow dissolution back into the Earth.
Life colonized, currents sculpted, geology reclaimed. The sea is the greatest archivist and the most patient obliterator.
She would carry that darkness within her, not as a weight, but as a depth.
And deep in the abyss, in the crushing, eternal dark, the silence waited for the next whisper of a...
The official story was brief. Vessel lost with Ons in Typhoon Thelma. She wondered about the captain, the crew, the human lives interwoven with the treasure, lost to a different depth.
She left no name, only the stone. An offering to the memory of those who didn't return to the light.
In a glass tower, the financial narrative concluded. Losses were recouped, premiums justified, and balance sheets corrected.
The watch's second life began under the gavel. Its story, the sinking, the recovery, now part of its provenance and its price.
For the pilot, the sea would never look the same. Its placid surface was now a lid, hiding the immense, dark cathedral below.
We didn't just bring back stuff. We brought back a question. And in answering it, we learned what we're capable of.
Another storm, another search grid, another secret whispered from the past. The cycle continued.
The ritual repeated. The checklist, the sealing of the hatch, the transfer from air to water, the embrace of the dark.
Each descent was the same, and each was utterly new. A personal covenant with the unknown. From the ultimate height, the truth was clear. Ours is an ocean world. It's deep.
In the end, we seek, we craft it, we capture it in crystal.
The final crate was sealed away. The journey from abyssal plane to high-security vault was complete.
The Perseverance shed one identity and prepared for another. Her decks held the ghosts of one mission, the promise of the next.
The Challenger was prepped again. Its pressure sphere, which had held 3 souls safe, was checked for the next 3.
He felt no desire to go out again. Some men only need to conquer the deep once to understand their place in the world.
He tried to describe the pressure, the darkness, the feeling of holding billion-year-old carbon. Words The sea shared its light and glimpses on its own terms, a reminder that its deepest wonders were
The Meridian Star was one story. The ocean held countless others. Stories of geology.
The future of the deep wasn't just salvage, it was discovery. The ultimate treasure might be knowledge, not bullion.
Her study became a museum of a single experience. The artifacts were humble, but their meaning was oceanic in depth.
She wrote not for academia, but for herself. To fix the memory before the details were worn smooth.
The stone was anchor and compass. It grounded her in the physical world, yet pointed her mind always back to the deep.
Not all recoveries are of objects. Some are of names, of stories.
It was a gesture for the captain, for the crew, an acknowledgement that their story, too, had been brought to the surface.
On the surface, the human world glittered with its own constructed treasures, its own rhythms, its own contained pressures.
And the Perseverance sailed on. Her name was not a boast, but a statement of fact. She was a vessel for human persistence.
Two ways to mark time. One precise, digital, relentless. The other smoothed by eternity, holding the memory of all time within it.
The light receded. The sphere of visibility closed. The dark welcomed back its own.
Their paths diverged in the sky, one returning to a quiet life, the other to the next corporate war room, the next set of coordinates.
For the public, it became Exhibit, a story of adventure behind glass.
But in a child's imagination, the truth still lived. The dark was real. The tools of conquest were maintained. The salt was washed off, the steel inspected. They would be needed again.
The knowledge lived here, in these rooms.
Even the tools were repurposed. From lifting gold to listening to the Earth's heartbeat. A more profound purpose. Life, endlessly adaptable, found use in our intrusions. The deep did not resist. It incorporated. For some, the encounter with the recovered past was a spark. It ignited a curiosity that led down unexpected, deeper channels.
Kebutuhan sumarital butam sa kimeke, kibutuhan psikera, buruhan sa wibu napa halay sa sarili.